Imagine walking into a room and, without saying a word, people feel drawn to you. Not because of expensive clothes, flashy jewelry, or false confidence, but because of something deeper. A quiet strength. An inner calm. A presence that speaks for you before your mouth ever opens. This isn't magic. It's the result of certain timeless habits, the kind of habits the ancient Stoics lived by. And when you embody them, you become naturally attractive in a way that can't be faked. Let's talk about them. First, understand that true attractiveness is built from the inside out. It has less to do with surface-level beauty and more to do with energy, values, and how you move through the world. People can feel when you're centered, when you're not desperate for approval, when you have a foundation that isn't shaken by every opinion or trend. That kind of stability is rare, and rare things are valuable. One enduring habit is practicing emotional control. In a world where everyone reacts instantly to everything, the one who stays composed stands out. The Stoics taught that you cannot control events, but you can control your response. When others see that you don't lose yourself to anger, panic, or drama, they instinctively feel safer around you. Emotional discipline is magnetic because it shows you have mastery over yourself. Another habit is speaking less, but with more weight. The more you listen, the more you learn, and the more people will value the moments when you do speak. Words that are thoughtful, precise, and rooted in genuine insight will always have more impact than endless chatter. The Stoics understood that wisdom is often in silence, and when you master it, people notice. Carry yourself with calm confidence. Not arrogance, but the quiet assurance that you know your worth without needing to prove it. This confidence comes from competence, from building skills, keeping promises to yourself, and living in alignment with your principles. It's not about trying to impress anyone. It's about living in a way that naturally inspires respect. Treat others with respect, regardless of status. When you greet the waiter with the same warmth you'd give a CEO, you communicate that your values are rooted in character, not hierarchy. People are drawn to those who see and value others without judgment or hidden agendas. Another powerful habit is staying committed to your personal growth. The most attractive people are those who never stop evolving. Read, learn, and challenge your thinking. Try new things. Step out of your comfort zone. When you keep growing, you radiate energy, and that energy draws people in. Protect your peace. Not every battle is worth fighting. Not every comment deserves a reaction. The Stoics would remind you that your time and energy are limited resources. When you choose where to place them carefully, you gain a certain presence, the kind of presence that makes others wonder what you're focusing on and why it's so important to you. Be genuinely kind, but not a pushover. Kindness without boundaries turns into weakness. But kindness with strength, the ability to say no when needed, to protect yourself while still caring for others, that is deeply attractive. It's the balance between warmth and self-respect. Maintain discipline in how you live. Whether it's your health, your work, or your relationships, people notice when you show up consistently. Discipline is rare in a world that worships instant gratification. When you have it, it shows in the way you speak, move, and carry yourself. Finally, live with purpose. The Stoics believed that a life without purpose is like a ship without a rudder. It drifts, easily swayed by every wave. When you have a clear sense of why you do what you do, you walk differently, talk differently, and people feel it. Purpose makes you magnetic because it gives every action a sense of meaning. These habits are not quick fixes. You don't just wake up one morning and master them all. They are lifelong practices, rooted in self-awareness and discipline. But the more you integrate them into your daily life, the more you'll notice that you don't have to chase attention. You simply become the kind of person who draws it effortlessly. And maybe that's the ultimate Stoic secret, that real attractiveness isn't about trying to be liked, it's about becoming someone you respect. When you respect yourself, the right people will naturally be drawn to you. Here's the thing: most people never commit to these habits because they require patience. They want quick results, easy tricks, instant validation. But here's the quiet truth that most won't tell you. The people who truly stand out are the ones who can delay gratification, who choose the long game over the quick win. The Stoics lived their entire lives this way. They didn't chase applause. They didn't post their victories for everyone to see. They simply lived in accordance with their principles, day after day, knowing that the rewards would come not from the crowd, but from within. And in the process, they became people whose presence could shift the entire mood of a room. Think about it. When was the last time you met someone who made you feel calm just by being around them? Someone who didn't need to prove anything, but still left you with the sense that you just encountered someone rare? That's what these habits create. They shape your character in a way that speaks louder than appearance, status, or money ever could. But here's where it gets interesting. These habits don't just make you more attractive to others, they make life itself more attractive to you. Because when you start living with purpose, with discipline, with emotional control, the noise of the world gets quieter. You stop getting pulled into petty conflicts. You stop wasting time on things that drain you. And you start noticing opportunities you couldn't see before. And over time, something shifts. People start treating you differently. They speak to you with more respect. They listen more carefully when you talk. They look to you for advice, for reassurance, for guidance. They can't always explain why, they just know there's something different about you. The truth? That difference is the result of daily choices. The decision to rise early instead of hitting snooze. To think before speaking. To focus on solutions instead of complaints. To walk away from drama instead of getting pulled in. Every small choice becomes a brick in the foundation of who you are becoming. So, if you want to be effortlessly attractive in the truest sense of the word, stop looking for hacks and start building habits. Habits that last. Habits that align with your values. Habits that, years from now, will make people say, "I don't know what it is about them, but I can't help being drawn in." And here's the final thought: remember that attractiveness is not about being perfect. The Stoics didn't preach perfection, they preached progress. You will stumble. You will fail. You will face moments where you break your own rules. That's fine. The key is to return to your path every single time. Because if you keep walking this path, you'll discover what the Stoics already knew, that the most magnetic thing you can offer the world is a life lived with integrity. And once you have that, you'll never have to chase approval again. Picture yourself 1 year from now. The same you, but sharper, calmer, more grounded. Your energy is steady. Your words carry weight. People respect your boundaries without you having to defend them. And the best part? You didn't get here by chasing trends or forcing yourself to be liked. You got here by showing up for yourself every single day. The world around you might still be loud, chaotic, and unpredictable, but you've learned the art of stillness. You move with purpose. You speak when it matters. You no longer react to every provocation, because you know not every battle is worth your time. And in a way you can't quite explain, people start gravitating toward you. Not because you're trying to pull them in, but because you've become the kind of person who's worth being around. And that's the essence of Stoic attractiveness: to live in such a way that your presence feels like a refuge in a noisy world. You don't need to be the loudest. You don't need to constantly prove your worth. You just need to be consistent, disciplined, and rooted in values that can't be shaken. The truth is, most people will never commit to this. They'll chase shortcuts. They'll look for quick bursts of attention instead of building the kind of presence that lasts a lifetime. But if you're still here, listening, you already know you're different. You already know you're capable of becoming that rare person who carries quiet power. So start today. Take one habit, one action, one small decision to align with who you want to become. Then repeat it tomorrow, and the day after, and the day after that. Because one day, you'll look back and you won't just notice the respect and admiration you've earned from others, you'll notice how deeply you respect yourself. And that, in the end, is the most magnetic thing of all. There will be days when it feels like nothing is changing. You'll question whether these habits are worth it. You'll look around and see others taking shortcuts, getting quick results, and for a moment, you might feel left behind. But here's the thing: the quiet work you're doing is building something far stronger than what they have. You're not just stacking moments of attention, you're building a foundation that will hold up under any storm. And that foundation? It's invisible to the untrained eye. But the right people will notice. They'll notice when you walk into a room and the atmosphere shifts. They'll notice the way you don't rush your words. They'll notice the way you seem unshaken by gossip, chaos, or the latest trend. It's a kind of power that doesn't shout. It doesn't need to. It's the power of someone who knows who they are and what they stand for. And that's something people can't help but be drawn to. The Stoics had a saying, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." That's the essence of it all. Stop overthinking the image you want to project. Stop chasing perfection. Just live the habits. Live them until they become second nature. Live them until they're so woven into your character that you don't even have to think about them. Because the truth is, people might be attracted to how you look. They might be impressed by what you have. But they'll stay and remember you because of who you are. And when you reach that point when your life itself becomes your message, you'll realize you never needed to chase attraction in the first place. You just needed to build yourself into someone who naturally commands it. So the next time you catch yourself wondering how to be more magnetic, remember it's not about doing more. It's about being more. More disciplined. More grounded. More aligned with your values. And every single day you practice that, you're not just becoming more attractive to the world, you're becoming someone you can be proud of. Because in the end, the most powerful habit of all is living a life that you would admire if you saw it from the outside. And here's what's interesting. The people you've always admired, the ones who seem untouchable, steady, magnetic, they're not running on some secret luck you don't have. They're simply playing a longer game than everyone else. They understand that real attraction, the kind that lasts decades, is built brick by brick, choice by choice, habit by habit. It's in the way they carry themselves when no one is watching. It's in the way they treat people who can do nothing for them. It's in the way they choose silence over pointless arguments, self-control over temporary satisfaction, discipline over distraction. These moments add up. And the world, without realizing it, starts to take notice. One day you'll be sitting somewhere, maybe a cafe, maybe a meeting, maybe just on a quiet walk, and you'll realize something subtle has shifted. People look at you differently. Conversations are more respectful. Your presence feels heavier, not in a burdensome way, but in a way that commands space. And you'll know it wasn't luck. It wasn't some shortcut. It was the days you showed up when you didn't feel like it. The times you chose patience over impulse. The nights you stayed focused when it would have been easier to drift. This is what the Stoics knew all along. You don't need to chase. You don't need to convince. You simply need to become. Because when you become someone of depth, someone of integrity, someone who lives their life with purpose, the right people, the right opportunities, the right energy will find you. And when they do, you won't need to ask yourself if you're worthy. You'll already know. So maybe you start tomorrow differently. You wake up, and before you reach for your phone, you sit for a moment. You breathe. You remind yourself of who you want to be today, not just what you want to do, but who you want to be. You move through your morning slowly, intentionally. Not sluggish, but deliberate. You speak with patience. You listen more than you talk. You pay attention to the details others rush past. And when challenges come, and they will, you pause. You think. You respond, not react. And in that tiny pause, you separate yourself from 90% of the world. That's how it starts. These habits aren't grand gestures. They're not dramatic scenes in a movie. They're small, consistent acts of alignment with your higher self. And the more you live them, the more your life changes, not overnight, but inevitably. At first, you'll notice it in yourself, a steadier mind, a lighter heart, a sharper focus. Then others will notice, the way you don't seem rushed, the way you seem untouchable by petty things, the way you carry an energy that makes people feel calm and curious at the same time. And eventually, you won't be thinking about how to be attractive at all. Because by then, you'll be too busy living a life that feels right to you. And there's nothing more magnetic than a person fully at home in themselves. So take these habits, not as a checklist, not as a quick fix, but as a quiet blueprint for the person you know you're capable of becoming. Because once you build yourself into that person, you'll realize you never needed the world's approval to feel valuable. You just needed your own. And once you have that, you'll carry an unshakable truth within you. that real attractiveness is not about being noticed. It's about being remembered. And when that day comes, the day you no longer seek to impress, the day you no longer need to explain yourself, the day you simply are, you'll feel it deep in your bones. It won't be loud. It won't be flashy. It will feel like standing on solid ground after years of shifting sand. And in that stillness, you'll understand why the Stoics never chased beauty, fame, or approval. Because those things are fleeting. They belong to the moment. But character, real character, it lasts. It grows stronger with time. It survives storms, rejection, and misunderstanding. That is what you've been building all along. Not just attractiveness, but a presence so steady, so grounded, that it speaks before you do. So keep walking the path. Keep building the habits. Keep showing up, even when no one is clapping, even when no one notices. Because one day they will. And when they do, it won't change you, it will simply confirm what you already know. That you became someone worth remembering. And in the quiet of your own mind, you'll smile. Because you didn't just live to be seen. You lived to be true. And there is nothing more attractive than that. And maybe, without realizing it, you'll start to notice the shift in the smallest places. The stranger who holds eye contact a little longer. The coworker who asks for your opinion before anyone else's. The way conversations quiet slightly when you enter a room. It's not because you've suddenly become someone else. It's because you finally stopped being anyone but yourself. That's the paradox. The Stoics understood. You stop chasing the world's attention, and somehow, it starts paying attention anyway. Not because of your appearance, your wealth, or the image you project, but because your presence tells the truth without saying a word. And the truth is this: a person who knows who they are is rare. A person who lives with purpose is even rarer. That's why people are drawn to them. Not because they shine brighter, but because they shine steadily. So keep shining steadily. Not for them, for you. Because in the end, all the noise will fade, the trends will die, the crowds will move on to someone else, but you will remain. And the person you've built will stand taller than any temporary spotlight ever could. That's not just attractiveness. That's legacy. And here's the quiet truth no one tells you. The longer you walk this path, the less you'll even think about the idea of being attractive. Not because you've stopped caring about how you're perceived, but because you'll be too focused on how you feel living this way. You'll start to notice things that most people miss. The way your thoughts are clearer when your mornings are calm. The way your conversations are deeper when you're truly listening. The way your days feel longer when you're not glued to distractions. The Stoics would say that beauty is not in the face, but in the mind that governs it. They knew that when the mind is ordered, the rest of life follows. And when the rest of life follows, your presence becomes undeniable. Think about it: when someone is frantic, chaotic, desperate, you can feel it. When someone is composed, centered, unshaken, you feel that too. And without thinking, you gravitate toward the latter. Humans always have. That's what these habits create. Not a performance, not a mask, but a steady current of self-respect flowing through everything you do. And that current, even if invisible, pulls the right people toward you. And here's something to remember: on the hard days, the days you slip, the days you feel like you've lost all progress, one moment does not define you. One failure does not erase the work you've done. The Stoics stumbled too. They felt frustration, temptation, and doubt. But they returned to their principles every time. That's what made them unshakable. And if you can do that, if you can return again and again to the habits you've chosen, you'll begin to realize that attractiveness isn't a state you reach. It's a side effect of becoming who you were meant to be all along. The outside world will notice it later, but you will feel it first. You might even start to see the world differently, noticing how often people chase things that don't matter, how quickly they trade their peace for a moment of approval, how they burn themselves out trying to be everywhere, do everything, please everyone, and end up pleasing no one, least of all themselves. And you'll feel a strange mix of compassion and clarity. Compassion, because you've been there. Clarity, because you know you don't have to live that way anymore. Your attention starts to shift inward. You begin to care less about what others are doing, and more about whether your own actions align with your values. Your victories are quieter now, not big public displays, but private wins. Finishing the book you've been meaning to read. Keeping a promise to yourself that no one else will ever know about. Choosing not to respond to something that once would have consumed your energy for days. These are the small things. But over time, they are the only things. Because they build the person you are when no one's watching, and that is the person people feel, even if they can't explain why. The Stoics didn't seek to impress with appearances, they impressed with how they lived. Their attractiveness was not about being the loudest voice in the room, but about being the most grounded presence in it. And that's the kind of magnetism you can't fake. It doesn't demand attention, it earns it, silently. And one day, you'll catch yourself in a moment, maybe standing in line at a coffee shop, maybe walking through a park, and you'll realize, you're not anxious, you're not performing, you're not worried about who's watching. You're just there, present, and at peace. And that, without trying, is when you'll be more attractive than you've ever been. The more you live this way, the more subtle shifts begin to appear. You'll notice how people speak differently around you, slower, more intentional. You'll notice how strangers greet you with warmth without knowing why. You'll notice that in moments of tension, eyes turn toward you, as if expecting you to be the anchor. And you will be. Not because you asked for it, not because you set out to control the room, but because your habits have made you a steady point in a world of instability. It's not about dominance. It's not about power in the usual sense. It's about trust. People trust calm. People trust steadiness. People trust those who act, not out of impulse, but out of clarity. And trust, more than anything, is the root of attraction. The Stoics lived by this without needing to announce it. They didn't advertise their discipline, they embodied it. They didn't post their routines, they lived them. They didn't need the world to validate their worth, they knew it in their own bones. And that's your path now. When others gossip, you'll redirect. When others rush, you'll take your time. When others chase trends, you'll choose timelessness. And at first, you might feel alone in this. The noise of the world will try to pull you back. You might feel the urge to explain yourself, to justify why you're different. But over time, the need to explain will vanish. Your life will speak for you. Your presence will carry your message. And the ones who are meant to be in your orbit will arrive not because you pulled them in, but because you've become someone worth orbiting. This is not a quick transformation. It is not a switch you flip. It is a lifetime of choices, quiet, deliberate, and often unseen. And yet, these unseen choices are the very thing that will make you unforgettable. You may also notice how your standards start to shift. Not in a way that shuts people out, but in a way that naturally filters what enters your life. You'll stop tolerating conversations that drain you. You'll stop investing in relationships that take more than they give. You'll stop saying yes just to avoid the discomfort of saying no. Instead, your yes will mean something. Your time will mean something. Your attention will mean something. And people will feel that weight. They'll understand, consciously or not, that being given your presence is not automatic, it is earned. The Stoics would call this living in accordance with nature. Not forcing, not pretending, not performing, but aligning yourself so closely with your principles that anything outside of them simply falls away. This kind of alignment has a strange effect. You begin to feel lighter, even while you're building something stronger. You begin to feel more grounded, even as you grow. It's in the way you carry yourself when you walk into a room, not hunched and rushed, but upright, measured, aware. It's in the way you listen, not waiting for your turn to speak, but truly hearing the other person. It's in the way you choose patience over proving a point, silence over needless noise. And with time, you realize that attractiveness is no longer even the goal. It's just a natural byproduct of living this way. The world notices, yes, but more importantly, you notice. You notice that your mind is calmer. You notice that you trust yourself more. You notice that, regardless of how anyone else sees you, you walk through your days with a sense of self that no praise or criticism can touch. And once you reach that point, you'll see why the Stoics valued this above all else. Because nothing, not beauty, not status, Not wealth is more powerful than the peace of knowing exactly who you are. So in the end, it isn't about memorizing 9 habits. It isn't about ticking off a list each morning or forcing yourself to become someone you're not. It's about living in a way that feels honest to who you are at your core and letting that honesty guide every choice, every word, every step. When you master your emotions, speak with intention, carry yourself with quiet confidence, respect others without losing yourself, commit to growth, protect your peace, show kindness with boundaries, live with discipline, and root your life in purpose, you stop chasing attraction. You become it. Not everyone will notice right away. Some may never understand it. But the ones who do will never forget it. Because in a noisy, impatient, distracted world, the rarest thing anyone can encounter is a person who knows exactly who they are and lives that truth without apology. And if you can be that person, you won't need to ask how to be remembered. You already will be.